Hello, third graders. In this slideshow, we are going to begin our discussion about social studies in third grade. Social studies in third grade is a really exciting and interesting part of our year. So you might be wondering, what do we learn in social studies in third grade? Here's some of the things we will learn. It's not everything, but these are the big ideas. One of the first things we're going to learn about is something called the geography of Massachusetts. Geography means the maps of Massachusetts and the land, the study of the land. And we'll find things out like where is Massachusetts located and what states are near us and what is the land like and what are the major landmarks, what are the major bodies of water in cities. And we'll do some practice work with map skills. If you weren't sure, this is a map of Massachusetts. That's kind of what our state looks like. And you'll be very familiar with that by the time we're done. Another really interesting part of third grade social studies is we study the native people of Massachusetts. So the native people means Native Americans. Sometimes people will use the word Indians, but it's more polite to say native people of Massachusetts or Native Americans. We're going to learn about which Native American tribes originally lived in Massachusetts and what was their life like. What did they do for fun? What did they eat? How did they speak? All kinds of things about the life of Native Americans. Another big part of third grade social studies is learning about what are called the English colonists and life in colonial times. Colonists are people who came from England and moved to Massachusetts to live here. One of the groups is very famous, called the Pilgrims, and the others are called the Puritans. We'll learn about why they came, and then we'll learn about what their daily life was like. You can see in this picture, this woman is a colonial woman, and she is doing something called churning butter. So we'll learn lots about what life was like during colonial times. We will also learn the most amazing story about Massachusetts and the role in something called the American Revolution. You might not be sure what the American Revolution is. It was a war, sometimes it's called the Revolutionary War, between the colonists and England. And this was a very important war. So we are going to learn about why was it important, what were the important events in Massachusetts, and who were the people that were involved in Massachusetts. In these two pictures, you can see two very important parts of the Revolution that had something to do with Massachusetts. The top picture is Paul Revere. Now, you may have heard of him. He rode his horse and yelled, "The British are coming," or "The regulars are coming." And on the bottom picture is something called the Boston Tea Party. Most third graders have heard a little bit about them, but by the end of third grade, you're going to be an expert in the American Revolution in Massachusetts. Another really interesting thing we do in third grade social studies is we learn about the history of Newburyport. You can see in this picture what Newburyport looks like now. It's a lovely little city. But did you know that Newburyport used to be very, very different? This is an old picture of Pleasant Street in Newburyport. And we're going to learn about when Newburyport became a city, what important events happened in our city's history, and how we got to be the city that we are now. So third grade social studies is full of lots of interesting topics. I think you're going to enjoy it. Our first piece of information that we're going to learn is making sure that all of us know where is Massachusetts in the world. So I want you to think about what you do know about Massachusetts as we go through the next couple of slides. So Massachusetts is located on the planet of, see if you can come up with that answer in your head. What planet do we live on? I'm sure most of you got that right. We live on planet Earth. Excellent. This is also a question you probably know, but Massachusetts is located on the continent of, I want you to think if you know that answer. What continent do we live on? We live on North America. So in this picture, you'll see what North America, this is all of North America in green, and kind of what it looks like on the globe. And on this picture, these are the countries of North America, and you can see what countries they are. Greenland, Canada, the United States, Mexico, and this is called Central America. So this is North America showing the countries, and this is just the continent of North America. This one I'm sure you know, but Massachusetts is a state that's located in the country of, so our country is called the United States. And this is a map of the United States. And this little tiny red, dark red state is Massachusetts. So we are a very small state in a very large country. However, we are a pretty important state. Lots of important things have happened in Massachusetts throughout our history. So even though we're small, we're pretty mighty. Massachusetts is located on the coast of what? So think about that. A coast means it's where the water touches the land. And Massachusetts is on a coast where an ocean touches North America. Can you think about what ocean that is? So Massachusetts is located on what is called the east coast of the United States, or it could be called the Atlantic coast. The Atlantic Ocean is the huge body of water. If you go to Plum Island, that's or Salisbury Beach, you're in the Atlantic Ocean. And you can see that we are on the eastern part of the United States. So we're in the northeast. That's called the Atlantic coast or the East Coast. Massachusetts is located in a region, which is a fancy social studies word that means an area of the United States called, now this is something that might be new for many third graders. What region of the United States do we live in? Well, guess what? We live in a region called New England. So this is a picture of New England. All of these states together are called New England. This purple one is Massachusetts. These other states are our neighbors. And together, all of these states are called New England. So when you hear about people traveling to New England, it could be any of these states. So this is a close-up map of New England. And these are some of our neighbors near us. So we're Massachusetts. Newburyport is right up here in this top corner, right in the very top. And north of us, our neighbors are New Hampshire and Vermont. Maine is part of New England, and Maine is close to us, but it doesn't touch Massachusetts. Can you see how New Hampshire is kind of in the way? Down to the south is Connecticut and Rhode Island. Rhode Island is a tiny, tiny little state. These states are called New England. Wait for that to go away. These are the states of New England. So that's just our first introduction to some of the social studies information that we'll learn this year. Now you're going to do an activity to help you review what you learned in this slideshow. If at any time you forget something, you can go back and rewatch this slideshow to help you. Have fun!